Election passions are running high in the U.S. Trump hopes next election heads of state will be honest. Serious compromising evidence was found on Biden. Sleepy Joe may have been involved in a $5 million bribe scheme. To whom will get the states in 2024 and why the new U.S. president clearly does not envy. See the new authors heading Mendeleev's table, One Donkey and Two Elephants. In the United States, the struggle for the presidency flares up. And although the red day of the calendar is still far away, the elections are scheduled for November 5, 2024. The tension in American society is already growing. Let's consider all the political elements and put them in their places. This is Table Mandela. Hello. World experts are wondering who will get the country that the current U.S. administration led by Biden has brought to the worst times in its history. This is the opinion of one of the candidates, the candidate Donald Trump. And the realities of the states, of course, are rosier erosion of family values in person. We need transgender people. We love transgender people, transgenders at home, but this is a lyric. The state of the United States has clearly deteriorated in recent years. An economics banker a couple of days ago, the Western media literally shouted that the states could be on the verge of default as early June 2023. Numerous foreign policy crises escalated. What only worth the Afghan fiasco? Crumpled, rushed chaotic outputist troops, accompanied by deaths. The Afghans tried to cling to the chassis American aircraft. The consequences of the 20-year friendship between the West and Afghanistan, political instability and the humanitarian crisis have clearly undermined the credibility of the United States by other countries. Biden's treasury of surprises for the United States includes sexual scandals, an increase in the number of mass executions and crowds of migrants. Active hotspot Southgate. Thousands of refugees flooded the center of the American city of El Paso. This happened after the expiration of the legislative norm, Section 42, which allowed the authorities to deport people under the pretext of fighting the coronavirus pandemic. Even Biden himself admits for some time he will have to live in chaos. Well, chaos has been reigning at our border for several years now. We must fully fund border security efforts. Fully. The wave of migrants who cannot be controlled is one of Biden's main crimes. Previously, the former presenter said on Fox News, by the way, about Carlson, that's who Sleepy Joe is really afraid of. Doomed by censorship was taken off the air. On the eve of the presidential race, a cleansing of the media space is overdue. In addition, a man in the prime of life clearly has more support among Americans than an 80-year-old Democrat. Carlson was even offered to be nominated for the U.S. presidency, but he won't run for office under any circumstances. This is a commentary for lawyers. Maybe so, or maybe a false start. But the story turned out to be instructive and Biden has something to remember. For example, freedom of speech, enshrined in the First Amendment of the American Constitution. So it turns out that in the arena they are all the same and only grandfathers are shown. Trump and Biden remember their 2020 again fight in the presidential race with obstacles. Experts have already dubbed the upcoming elections battles of anti-ratings, and the main candidates exchanged pleasantries. You can take the worst presidents in American history and combine them, and it turns out that they would not have done as much damage as Biden did in tears. We cannot allow the Samith man who was president 4 years ago. According to the forecasts of American analysts, both candidates have approximately equal chances of winning the presidential race. Well, this is if the Americans themselves vote. The negative experience of past elections, when in some states ballots turned out to be almost twice as many as citizens with the right to vote and even dead souls voted, nevertheless undermines faith in the honesty of calculations in cradle of democracy. And if everything is clear with these elements, then who is wrong landing? Where did it come from and why does the New York Store write about it? Quote, strong and not dumb. And this is another move by the bishop. Florida's 44-year-old governor announced an intention to participate in the elections. LaCalve media called DeSantis Trump's main rival. Himself a newly minted candidate has already commented to Fox News about what's going on in Eastern Europe. I want everything to be sorted out there. I don't want an escalation of war. No one knows what the situation will be there by January 2025 for the inauguration after the elections. But I definitely don't want the US and our army to get into a war in Russia or Ukraine. They become interesting. There is still more than a year and a half before the 60th anniversary presidency.